What is going on?
just
It's Celso Oliveira, Section 128. We're live here with Eric. Eric's still setting up his equipment. He is back in the show. We're excited for this one. We're going to be at first breaking down Saturday game where LAFC squeezed a 1-0 win against Dallas, and then breaking down the Alajuelense CCC matchup. And Eric, right after the intro, we'll have something for you guys that are listening in. But first, as usual, our friends from Fugazi. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are here with Eric. Eric, I'll go straight to you because I know you have a giveaway, buddy, for tomorrow's game. And then you can go right into your instant reaction. LAFC staying perfect at BMO this weekend. Eric, you're live. Go ahead.
Technical difficulties. Give me one
second.
second.
Yeah, but I can hear you. So perhaps you can keep talking here. Otherwise, we might have to.
All right, cool. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm having technical difficulty. It was a great victory this week.
No, buddy. It's not working. Something is up.
I'm gonna let me come into my phone.
Yep, we'll keep trying here while he's doing this. Hopefully, there he goes. Let's just put this up here, get you out of here.
All right.
Sweet. Let's try this again.
Hey guys.
Okay. All right. Not a smooth start, not a big deal. Match overview against Dallas. What did you think, buddy? We have a lot of people unhappy with the team. I understand the sentiment. It wasn't necessarily a pretty win, but you and I talk about nasty wins being necessary sometimes.
Ugly wins.
Give me your ugly, right? Give me your assessment of this game and what does it mean for LAFC and its fans?
Yeah, man. After watching us kind of roar out the gates and play beautiful, sexy soccer pretty much every day, match in, match out, watching that first half was really rough. We watched guys making poor passes. We watched cheap giveaways, all the above. So it was it was tough to watch. And then the second half was a lot of the same. We saw some adjustments. Things started working better. And then Martínez put in that goal, and the team was able to hold it off. So, yeah, it was tough to watch. But then I remembered at the end, one of my old sayings is I love ugly wins. And I just had to appreciate it as for what it was, which was an ugly win against Dallas. And, the reason I love ugly wins is because champions learn how to win ugly. Non-champions, when they get in those ugly games, they don't win. And so a champion needs to learn how to make ugly wins happen when they happen. And we saw it.
Yeah, man. And two pivotal stories to me, of course, the David Martínez goal, which we will talk about in the next segment. But first, we have to talk about the fact that 80% of the people that I polled on Twitter thought that Hugo Lloris was the man of the match. He had 5 saves, 2 from inside the box. Someone told me that, and that's true. But I thought somewhat easier saves, manageable saves. He didn't mess up. He did his part. Whereas if Martínez doesn't score that goal, we come out of that game with 1 point and just feeling kind of sour about it. So 0 points or 1 point at home for me, it doesn't make much of a difference. So did you think Hugo Lloris rendered himself the honors of man of the match? I thought it was Martínez.
I think it was a toss-up between the two. I'm sure we'll get into Martínez, but his hustle all game was just outstanding to watch and something new that I think is against his repetation. But Lloris, I think, man, give him his roses because he had some great point-blank range stops. He had a couple stops that could have been goals. I believe Dallas had a 1.4x goal at this game versus our 0.6x goal. So by all means, They should have won that game, but Lloris, I feel, bailed us out. A lot of his other games, you're saying, some of his stops are a little easier, but he had a couple really tough shots that I think could have went in, and nobody could have blamed him.
I mean, like, I love Lloris, and like, I was there when I asked him, "Hey, are you coming back?" And I'm glad he did. I don't know much about Hassal for missing out with him not playing, but I mean, there's really no rush for moving on Lloris. So yes, I'll give him his flowers because he was solid. He doesn't make mistakes, especially at home. He's been really good, and LAFC gets yet another clean sheet, which kind of, before again we go into the goal. Look, it's about the defensive system that has been built in front of him too. So I'll give credit to a guy like Ryan Porteous because ever since he's gotten here, the defense got better and gave us a chance. So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing on the defensive side of the ball, which to me it's impressive, especially with the back three, I guess, or back four, however you want to see it.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, it is. I mean, it is kind of more of a back three. Segura doesn't really go up on adventures. He did put up a nice cross, but he's been kind of hanging back. And for that matter, Palencia has also been kind of keeping back at times, letting the front six really push far forward. So defense has been solid. What can you say? We have 4 shutouts in 5 games, and a lot of that is on the back of the defense. A couple of games, Lloris didn't really get tested much at all. So everything's getting stopped before it gets to that point. And, which is good to see in Dallas when it gets past that point, he's able to make the stops. It is a good team game we are playing right now. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about this team in the start is that they're really playing team ball. And Lloris happened to be the one to step up last time. Martinez, I'm good with the man of the match to either one of them, honestly. Like, I think they both deserve man of the match.
Yeah, bro, it was impressive. I just love that goal. I think it was a candidate for definitely one of the most electrifying goals of this round. And like again, David Martínez is coming into his shell, which is great for us when Son Heung-min and Denis are not having necessarily their best game, and they can't find the spaces that we necessarily see them find from time to time. You have this third escape, and he's been really good at that so far. What do you think the ceiling is? And I'm going to load the goal here, but you can talk about it too. But what do you think the ceiling is for David now that he's coming out of his shell and essentially finding the place to play, almost like more on the inside, kind of finding these wrinkles there on top of the box?
Yeah, this is something I think I had a great takeaway from MDS's post-match interview yesterday because they asked him a bit about David Martínez, and he said, it was good to keep in mind that they signed him when he was 17 years old, and he was from a town in Venezuela. So to come here right at 18 years old and expect him to just go right into the lineup and know everything and do everything, he said, is very unrealistic. He's got to adjust not only to a new country, a new society, a new culture, but also to a new level to the game that he had been playing. So, he said always from the beginning, he knew that the kid was a little bit of a project and he wasn't going to come blazing out of it right away, but that he would get there, and he kind of mentioned that since they speak the same language, he had been a bit of a big brother to him on the team. And I thought that was a really nice, charming piece of the interview.
Now, Eric, if you notice after the goal, he goes and celebrates with Steve Cherundolo, which earlier on had been booed apparently on the stadium once he was shown, which kind of an awkward moment. Come on, you can't boo the guy that gave you first MLS title. There's some craziness going on there. But I get it. I get that sentiment as well. But what did you think of the celebration, right? Going there and basically hugging Dolo and sort of, hey, you signed me in a sense, right? What was that moment about for you?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting because I always felt like Dolo kind of held him back a bit. And that's another thing MDS said in his interview is that he always felt like Martinez last season was used too far wide, and that MDS had always thought and advocated that he's a better player cutting inside and that he needs to be in more central areas. And that's what he's done with him this year. And we've all seen a completely different player this year of what MDS is getting out of him compared to Cherundolo. So great that Martinez gave him a hug. I don't know if there's anything else, if it's just an innocent hello. Interesting that he got booed on the screens, but this just tells you LAFC fans, we have very high standards. And, it comes all the way through with how things were handled. A lot of people, I think, were frustrated. And but at the end, look, MDS is just ripping off wins. And so, what we could have something special here.
Yeah, 5-0, and I mean, glad to see Dolo coming back. We got to keep it amicable with him. And it's interesting. He doesn't have a job and nothing has been talked about it. Like when I asked him last year, hey, what are you going to do? He's like, oh, I'm just going to hang out with my family. He's like, all right, bro. Like it's almost like, it's almost spring and you don't have a job. So tell me what's up with that. But I'm sure he's working on something and it's going to be big news when it breaks for LAFC. However, yeah, we're ripping wins. Let's look at this goal real quick and then break it down what you see. And then you talk a bit about this position. Hopefully this will work out. Or not. It's not working. Nothing's working today, Mike. This shit sucks. Okay.
We got the
not working, guys. We can just listen to Max.
Oocha Magooch. I love Max.
Okay. Yeah, that's all we're gonna get. We get the audio. Everyone watched this game in this goal, which was impressive. But he gets the ball on top of the box and just rips it, which I've seen him do more often here. Anything else you saw before we move on from this? I just really felt it was a special goal. The goalkeeper, again, I made this comment to JP, I believe, last week. I'm saying, hey, if it's like Donnarumma or a top goalkeeper, or a best goalkeeper in Brazil, I don't know who he is right now. Maybe they stop these shots. Like, did you think it was a stoppable shot for the Dallas guy there? You know what I mean? It's a little bit of like a iffy moment, I would think. It was only a 0.1 X goal, talking about X goals, just so you know.
I mean, he hammered that ball. So I suppose a goalkeeper could have stopped it, and plenty of goalkeepers wouldn't have stopped it. But I think more interesting than that is, and is the buildup of the play. They kind of recycled the ball a couple times. They moved it, it started with Denny recycling the ball instead of trying to take on guys. Like, we noticed this a lot. Dallas was playing 5 in the back and then 4 in front of him. So they were really clogging that box. And so Denny, instead of trying to go behind the defenders of the back line, recycled it back out. And it ended up back in the box. There was nowhere left for it to go there. And then it went back to David, who took the shot. We've seen him take these shots and miss it. We've seen Eustáquio make those shots. We've seen Tillman make a shot. And this kind of tells us, if we get low blocked, that's kind of what they do. They cycle the ball around. They have patience until they find that opening where they can take a shot, maybe put in a goal like that, maybe earn a set piece. And we've seen them score off some set pieces this year as well. The new coach that they brought in, one of the assistants, is a set piece specialist, and so they have been doing a lot of rehearsed set pieces, and we've seen that in these games as well. So I think this is a general strategy, and with Eustáquio and Martínez on these long range shots, and Tillman, when he can make the shots, this is how we're going to beat low blocks.
Good. So Steven Eustáquio gets credited with the assist. I noticed that. Again, he's got to grow an influence in this roster. So 2 things, right, we have to talk about. First and foremost, the fact that he's going to leave sometime, right? And his replacement is, we don't know. It could be Igor Jesus, but Igor Jesus might be just coming back from that injury when, the time comes for his loan to end. So one option, I think someone brought it up last week, is we just extend his loan until the end of the season, right? But if Igor Jesus comes back, the question starts beginning, what do you do with him? Because he was excellent for us. Let's not forget how much Igor has given us last season, right, before he went down. So your thoughts on the growing influence of Eustáquio, and again, this growing question mark of what do you do once his loan comes up at the end of this, 6 months?
It is a difficult question. I think if we're number one, the team loaning him, probably, I guess I don't know if Porto really wants to loan him or if they really want to find a buyer for him, and I think he's got a decent price tag on it. So I don't know enough about Porto to know what they see in him. If they see as a kid they want to develop and come back, that's one thing, we can get him another year. If he's a guy that they want to move on from and they want to clear off their books and make a sale, then they're going to want us to put up or shut up, frankly, in the summer, which means that to keep Eustáquio, we are going to have to open the 3rd DP slot and give it to him, and I see people talking about 3rd DP, but hey, look at how he plays. There's a chance that we look at this and we say, you know what, like, I think we want to roll with him as a third DP.
But I don't. Okay, your argument is excellent, and this is why I brought it up, because once you start comparing him with what Igor Jesus, a non-DP level player, was giving you before he goes down, you start wondering, okay, is it worth DPing a player like Steven Eustáquio? You start basically saying, first off, Steven Eustáquio is the player on the left. You start with their heat maps, which again, this is based on just a handful of games versus an entire core of games that Igor had. But Igor, you can tell, is more the kind of the box-to-box mid that can basically get close here and further untoggle, right? Further unlock our forwards when we get bottled up. And when he went down, we became extremely predictable up front. Expected goals, you see that Igor was doing much more than, Eustáquio has had so far in terms of production. I know he had a goal, but, Igor was excellent up front and was providing all kinds of support for the offensive side of the ball and hustling back. You can see it, whereas you can see sort of Eustáquio being a little bit more just parked in the middle of the field. So again, your thoughts on Igor, how he used to play, right? What do we do? Like assume that he's back by the World Cup, which I think he will be. Do we just take a gamble and say, thank you, Eustáquio, we're just going to roll back to Igor because he has everything that you can do, plus more, because we can develop into a sale?
I mean,
look at the numbers.
Well, I think so. Not to pour cold water on this, but we have a body of games we need to see in the next 4 months. So
right,
I think now let's take the best, for example. Knock on some wood here. Let's say that we go on a run and we take Champions Cup with Eustáquio on the roster playing a role. Like, if we do that, of course we want to keep him and bring him on, and we bring him in as a DP. And then we kind of start another phase of the season, because this kind of takes us to the break. And I will give you this, Celso. What do you think a midfield would look like with Eustáquio and Igor playing a double pivot and then throwing Baudry up in front of them as an attacking mid? Because you have two excellent box-to-box defenders with good distribution. And I think you make a midfield look even crazier. And then
that's a good question.
You have Tillman, who can be a Swiss Army knife. They've been using him at right back occasionally. You can mess with the formation, go 3 in the back, and put him in as a fourth midfielder, or Delgado as a fourth midfielder. There's a lot of options here, and with that much creativity, it's a midfield that can really control the game, I think, against any team. And now we're looking at one of the best midfields in the league, one of the best attacking trios in the league, and pretty strong back line. And we could be looking at a team that could make the double or triple, assuming everybody stays healthy from here on out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to stay healthy. And first off, I love that midfield idea. It makes a lot of sense. Let's say mid to late season, the team's going to look very different from what it looks today. And look at the starting 11 from the beginning of a season to the end of a season of LAFC for the last 3 seasons. You can see how much it changes from the first game to the second window. It's just crazy how much it changes. So it will change. More players will come. Some players will go away, and then you start thinking about who can be a prime candidate to be moved. I think Tim Tillman can be that player. You can get some maybe top dollar for him if he decides, or we get a good offer for him to go to Europe, right? Like, so there's maybe something there with, Malik already being in Europe, him being from Europe. Maybe that's a player that is prime to go to open up space for Amine Boudry, right? So we made this huge investment on this young player, right? And we know this season is just waiting and seeing what's going on. But for the most part, I know that Amine Boudry has basically the future, right? Like, he is the future for us. And you're right. It could be excellent to see him with Igor. It's all about Igor's recovery, right? Maybe tomorrow I'll ask that question. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I held out on the weekend to go to this game because I love the Concacaf Champions action. And I think that's just a good question to ask. Hey, what are his, long-term expectations, and how do you see Amine Boudry? And by the way, we have to talk about who's going to start for this game tomorrow, because we expect to see some rotation and some of these names that barely played, right, to make an impact tomorrow. But first, hey, real quick, I have a couple more topics here just to talk about. We talked about Eustáquio. We talked about how Marc Dos Santos has been excellent. Hugo Lloris, man, like, he's been excellent as well. We can't give him. We'll give him this time of the day and everything else.
Give me a second.
Go ahead, Eric.
Before you get to Lloris, I did tweet we were going to have a contest. I have 2 tickets for Alajuelense tomorrow.
That's true.
So if you're following me here, and you're following me on X, the first person I see that types in Steven Eustáquio's name and spells it correctly is going to get my 2 tickets for Alajuelense.
There you go.
So good luck,
There you
everybody.
go.
I'm on my phone, so I won't be able to check Twitter till after the show, but I'll hit you up.
That's I'll even put a banner here for you, Eric. Eric's giveaway. Type.
I know I
Sorry,
can't see the chat. I can't be in the chat.
I know
I'm
it's
sorry, guys.
this is we're working on this is
But
this is
I'm
a
giving away
challenging week.
tickets, so hopefully that'll make
Type
up for it.
the secret answer, and it's yours. There it is.
All
Just
right.
in case.
Now
All right,
you can
we'll
ask
put
me
this
about
up here.
Lloris.
But yeah, Hugo Lloris again stayed to play another season. Looks really good under the, like just in control. Is our captain now. So much going on. And again, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball here because Aaron Long is going to be coming back. Ryan Porteous has been a great success. And when you start thinking about the economics of this game, it would be really easy for Aaron Long not to be here long term now. Am I crazy here? If this defense works so well that Long is just a replacement piece, like who would you take it out if he's doing that well? And I think that's having, a massive consequence in Hugo Lloris because A, he's now the captain, and B, he's playing with a better defense in front of him. Aaron Long has had some mistakes in the past. Sorry, I'm just being very honest here.
No, it's wild because I will say Tafari, I've been saying all season, he's there because Long is injured. He's the guy you want as CB3 or 4, but he is making me eat those words. Like I almost, if Long was back tomorrow, I almost feel like Tafari's got a good shot at beating him. He's really quick, he's got his recovery speed, but it is Aaron Long at the same time. I mean, imagine
he's a captain.
Imagine if they moved Tafari over to right back or something like that. I mean, he'd be. It's
Oh God, but
crazy.
Valencia's he's a starter. He's a de facto starter. You can't bench Valencia, and I wouldn't because the leadership comes from them too. Again, with Aaron, it's nothing against Aaron. It's about who's playing well and who deserves minutes. And if you're coming out and you're hurt and you want more minutes that you're getting, there's a little bit of a tough situation here, which can create opportunity in the future. A team might be in need of a really great center back, and LAFC can get much needed game. You saw our game is terrible this year. Or TAM 102, sorry, but it's terrible. So if we can get some TAM, right? Like you start thinking, man, we can get probably 1.5 TAM for this guy. And then suddenly you can have some different roster discussions, right?
Can we? I mean, we could before Achilles injury. I think after an Achilles injury, it's a big question mark. The other thing with this also is that an injury like that, as long as everybody else stays healthy, he's probably not going to be playing until the All-Star break anyways, which will take us all the way through Champions. I think the guys you saw yesterday, this is who we want to go all the way through Champions with. If Long comes back, Igor won't be back in time, but even if they did, I don't think they're cracking the Champions lineup. I think he'll get some rotation games in the league or something like that while we rest. He's great to have to rest for league games, still be a competent guy in the back line. I mean, don't go throwing Long out yet. I mean, the guy's practically
I'm not
MLS
throwing Long.
best 11.
I'm just kind of thinking in terms of roster flexibility, and it was concerning to see how much little flexibility we have and how much we spend. And Eustáquio is really gonna just expire. His loan's gonna expire, so there's gonna be some roster decisions to be made. And I wonder who's JT looking at and saying, all right, where can I get some value here in order to make a run at this MLS Cup if I have a defense that is rendering just clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet? Isn't that meaningful? The clean sheet after clean sheet? Is that all on Hugo Lloris, or is this on a very good defensive front that has been built by Marc Dos Santos?
There's a lot of games to go this season, and we're going to need depth. We're going to need the rotation. This group's going to have to roll through spring with all of these games, all this congestion into Leagues Cup as well. So there's a lot of games to play. We're going to need Long when he gets back. So and I also think this is that the CCC years is when you blow through your GAM. We're sitting at 250,000 GAM. We can't really do anything with that. It's like we can probably find more gams sitting underneath our couch cushions if we pull them up. So it's just not really an option to do anything. But we are loaded up. We have a U22 good prospect defender, Igor Jesus, injured. We have Long injured, who's practically a best 11, and we're chugging through with our team. So we have depth. All our money is into our depth. But at this point, we basically cannot afford any more injuries. And that's it. But yeah, we should have the bank drained right now. We absolutely should.
And I see a guy like Nathan Ordaz that is not getting as many minutes. Tyler Boyd suddenly is the guy getting the minutes off the bench. What do you think that's all about? So I know a lot of people are not very happy with Boyd and the fact that he's actually even getting on the field. So what have you seen for him that is positive? I haven't seen much. He's tiny, by the way. I thought he was a little bit of a bigger guy. And, again, why is he playing over Nathan? Is that like an injury issue that we're not seeing or a behavior issue? I mean, what are we doing here with Nate the Great? That was such an impact for us in the beginning of last season.
Yeah, I think Boyd does some things when he comes in situations. He usually comes in and we're protecting a lead. And I think Boyd is he's a little bit better of a passer, and he's better at dropping back into the midfield more, I think. Whereas Ordaz is a vertical counter-attacking guy. And so when you're against teams who are kind of playing into a low block or the aggressive, that's, I guess, Boyd, he just feels more comfortable with sitting on a lead. I think if he's chasing a lead, he would be putting Ordaz in. That's my only guess. But since we haven't been chasing leads much at all, it doesn't happen. I will say this also is that if Ordaz isn't really going to get minutes, it's doing him no good staying here. And he should be a guy that we can probably get a pretty good trade value for. And I think for him, it would be good as well for him to go get the minutes. So
I bet there's no offers there, Eric. And this is probably a great segue for us, unless you have some additional things to start talking about, some ideas for rotation for the game tomorrow. A hard-fought win in MLS, 3 points, yay, 3 points at home. I know this is very important. We did our job, but now we have to basically get rid of this Alajuelense team, which can be a pain in the butt. And we're coming in, again, with some fatigue here, probably some rotation, and a game that really didn't make anybody just say, wow. Maybe Marc Dos Santos was like, all right, let's take our foot off the gas in this game, the Saturday game, so that we have some gas for Tuesday, and we see the exact same lineup for Tuesday. But from a depth perspective and the players that are playing, or Holland's haven't been playing a lot, what do you do? And, what kind of rotation you start kind of thinking about for tomorrow's game? And we'll do our lineup, but let's just talk names like Smolyakov. We haven't seen him at all. What's going on there?
I don't know what's going on with Smolyakov and why he can't get to the field. We've been playing Segura in that position all season. So Segura has beaten him out to the left back. This may be a game that's better suited for Smolyakov, but I don't think we're resting. I think we're going to see the same lineup we did again. In his post-game presser, he looked at this and he said, hey, this is the home leg. There's no time for stopping now. We need to, when you have your home leg first, you got to put some goals up there. So I think he's coming out with his best 11 again. And you might, I would even speculate that we're going to see some attackers get subbed in. Even if we have a lead in that game, we're going to put more attackers in and really try to put in some goals, because you can't go on the road to a place like that without a comfortable cushion to go through it.
So let's kind of analyze this real quick. So for the Dallas game, the used subs were 4, right? So you had, I believe, just 3. Chonier comes in basically every game. He's just a natural replacement when he wants to just close down the game and just be more defensively. He came in for Denis Bouanga. And then you had Tyler Boyd relieving David Martínez. And then you had Amin Boudry relieving Tim Tillman, which that could be a battle. Again, by the end of the season, that could very easily switch. You see Timmy Tillman in a different part of the pitch here. Unused yeah. Real quick. Sorry. Smoley, unused. Nielsen, fine, makes sense. Hollingshead, Raposo, which is playing fullback, and then Ordaz. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think those guys are going to go in?
Right. I can start. I think that no way Hassal is going in because we saw Hugo Lloris today talking right next to Marc Dos Santos in the pregame interview. I could not make that one either. It's crazy, but there's so many games, so many things going on. Like I just can't keep up. I can't keep up with like 80% of it this year. It's crazy. Smoliakov, again, it seems like the formation is allergic to fullbacks that like to attack. In fact, someone asked, and I think Scarf asked that question during a post-game presser. Hey, what's going on with Segura over Smoliakov or even Hollingshead? And he's like, well, those guys like to attack a lot and they take all the space out of the knee and it makes us very vulnerable. And we've seen how many times the stash get burned, right? So I think that's why we play Segura. Steady Eddie, which is stay there, is a better defender than both of those guys.
Yes.
So that's what we're saying. It gives Denis more freedom, right? But tomorrow against a weaker team like that, maybe it's time to drop the hammer, right? Let's be vulnerable on that left side of the field. So what do you think of those comments, by the way? I thought that was a good explanation why Segura is getting the nod. But again, you just don't use the fullback on the left side at all. There's just none. No activity.
I mean, it's kind of smart. Same with on the right side because and this one of the problems. Smoliakov is a good crosser, but what use do we have with a crosser? Like Son Heung-min doesn't really get into the mix against two center backs and start battling for 50-50 aerial duels, you know? So Bouanga, when he gets up there on the wing, he doesn't really look to cross it. He looks to dribble past somebody, or he looks to switch or recycle it. Like that's kind of what he does. Same thing with Martinez on the other side. Martinez is a left-footed player. He's not crossing the ball. So what do we need fullbacks that are heading up the cross for? So I think that's definitely something to look at. And and I agree, Baudry. I'd love to see him in. My big question with Baudry starting though is what is his off the ball look like? What does his defending look like? Because that's the one thing with Tillman is really good at forcing turnovers. Can Baudry, if Baudry can force turnovers even 2/3 as much as Tillman does, I think his attacking power will overcome it. But that's really my big question mark on Baudry beating out Tillman is his defensive work rate. If he has it, that's going to be it.
Yeah, I would sit Davi and he still get his minutes in the second half, but give throw Ordaz a bone. Ordaz starts, and that's why he didn't play because they wanted Ordaz playing 90 minutes hard, and maybe he'll go 90 if he can show but he should start tomorrow with David Martínez off the bench, relieving him. I don't see us losing too much with Martinez coming off the bench after 2 games, right? Like that's nothing wrong with that. And then I love Baudry for Tillman. I did think that he was gassed as well, not as fast to the ball, which it's understandable. The games are starting to add up early in the season, so your body's still going through that adaptation of being in full form, and suddenly LAFC has a very taxing schedule in front of it. So I'd be surprised if we just go without any sort of tweaks, and I think those two could be very easy. The defense, however, I would actually keep it the exact same. There's absolutely no reason to change it. It's working. It's solid. The midfield as well. Are you really going to bench any of those guys, right? The depth that LAFC has is sort of like I said, we're one injury away from that depth not existing and us having to access some of our young talent. So defensively, is Ryan Hollingshead or Smoliakov actually get a start here or not really?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I think if we win by 4, maybe they'll get a start in Costa Rica, but
okay.
Or probably they play next week against St. Louis.
Which is another game. Again, you have the San Luis weekend. So it's a very congested schedule, but you have 3 days, right? And then after that, a little bit of a break. So it's not terrible, right? And if you can just tie on the road against one of the worst teams in the league, maybe that's not so bad, right? So you go full strength here, and then you could, maybe rotate some guys on the weekend. I have no idea, bro. Like, there's so many games, like I said, that if I'm the coaching staff, I'm looking at just who's gassed, who wants to go, who's looking good at practice, right? And
Yeah.
essentially, yeah,
You know,
maybe as
the
Omar is
thing,
saying, the big rotation comes against STL.
the thing with Ordaz starting is that I feel like I feel like MDS would have played Martinez a full 90 minutes just with the knowledge that, he can run him out because he's going to rest on Tuesday. That's kind of the one thing on that. But I could see like a Bodri for Tillman because or not for Tillman, for Delgado, because I think that Alajuelense is going to play a low block against us as well. So putting in some creativity guys, which I think Martinez is better at breaking down a low block than Ordaz, and Bodri, who I think has a good chance. He's not scared to take shots from outside the box, and I think that's what we need against these low blocks. So that's kind of the one sub I could see is Bodri, and I'd do it for Delgado, not for Tillman, because I like Tillman to help turn the ball over again. But defense,
Maybe
yeah,
just
same
retreat
group.
Tillman a little bit and move up Boudry. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea, man. Let's just go through it then. Like, it seems like you and I are kind of on the same page, so we don't have to do this twice. So goalkeeper, we're gonna start with Lloris, and then go ahead with the defensive and the midfielders. We'll start, and I'll finish with the offensives.
Yeah, it's going to be Segura, Tafari, Porteous, and Palencia. That's the back four.
Got you.
Midfield, Bodri, Tillman, and Eustáquio.
And then up front, again, Son, Bouanga,
Martinez.
And then who do we put on their right side? Then
Martinez, because he got subbed out. I think he's starting. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ordaz come in early in the second half to rest him, or he possibly brings in Delgado and moves Tillman up to that position.
I think that's tough. I think you got to keep these guys happy. We had an interview. We had an interview with Mark, and he's like, these guys expect to play right now, right? So if you think of Ordaz and say, hey, hello. Sorry, I love when people say hello. I have to say hello back. Thanks for watching. Yeah, but geez, man, Ordaz probably still like, what the hell, man? What do I have to do to play any minutes? It's Alajuelense. I don't want to go play this weekend game in St. Louis, with the reserves. I want to play
at home. It's
the
at
real
home
minutes. Is it at home? It's up. Oh shoot, my bad.
Yeah, it's at home.
I can't keep up. I don't know, man. I think that he should start tomorrow. There's just nothing that we lose from him not starting. He's a very young guy. He's hungry. Someone actually brought a big good comment here. Say, hey, if you're just gonna keep him there, just move him, right? I hope not. That's a horrible end for Nate the Great. That I do not want to see him opokud. And that should be a verb now. If you don't want to get opokud and be sent to Montreal for some game that's gonna become a third pick that you already forgot about. And suddenly all that history that player brought to you, all that development you've done is down the drain. Hell no. This guy is a massive LAFC talent. Should be treated as such. I hope to see him as a start. I hope to see him as a starter tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll be really upset, Eric. All right. How do you think this game breaks down?
Well, we have to play a lot better than we did against Dallas. Although, credit to Dallas. Dallas looks like they're going to be a pretty tough team this year. They should be a playoff team. The West in general looks really strong this season. But I think best case scenario, we're going to go out there. We're going to win this game 4-0. We're going to put them through. We're going to be able to rest some guys in the second half to keep them fresh. And that's it. And we're going to go right through Alajuelense before. And, and the
extra motivation here, Eric. You see that? A little extra motivation. See, this is what's going on here. David's pointing out that these guys have beef with us because we took their Club World Cup spot that was supposed to be them after Club Leon shut the bed. They're like, wait a minute. We were right there. How come we didn't get the spot? The LAFC gets the spot. Anything here? Any little extra beef? I think anytime these guys have an opportunity to come and play and show that they can compete, they're going to come with extra motivation. Should we be concerned about getting Concacaf? And again, playing the first leg at home, it's not necessarily the best thing, right? Because that's when things can go wrong. That's when things can go off script, right?
And this comes into how we got into the tournament. We kind of snuck in because we were one of the last entries out of MLS to get in, basically. And Alajuelense won the Central American Cup, so they were the champions of a tournament to get there, which is why they have a first round bye. So we are playing a much tougher team. This is no real Espana over here. Like, this is a perennial Central American champion. They're one of the biggest clubs in Central America that's not in Mexico. So this is a much tougher opponent. It's an opponent that we should be able to handle. This will be our third time we have went there in CONCACAF Champions. Was it the last time that we basically took over an entire supporter section with 1,000 supporters, and then they had to leave early because they were a little too rowdy in there? But so I think this is almost becoming a rivalry and a grudge match because they've been knocked out twice by us, and it's got to start to sting.
I don't know, man. Look at just a quick check on their form. Typically I like to come up with an article explaining where they are. Like, they're not necessarily, I mean, they're 11 games in, so it's not a team that has played a ton of games, but has played more games than we have. And we did play an extra round too, so on the CONCACAF Champions. So, but they had 3 losses and now 2 wins. The latest one being against San Carlos just 2 days ago. So they are also coming out of a short leg, right, and a short rest. So I mean, the rest factor should cancel itself, and depth then becomes the most important piece of the equation. So that's why I think that, like, if you bring some of these top caliber players off your bench, and you can just knock them out. But we might see Marc Dos Santos front load this and put his best 11 no matter what, right? And keeping very consistent with the Saturday game. But that's Alajuelense, like 4 losses already this season, but it seems to be found some form here in the last 2 games. Herediano.
What did we beat them? We beat them like 5-1 at last time we played them in Costa Rica, and then we came home.
Yeah, it was pretty lopsided. It's pretty lopsided, so it was not close. And I don't think it's going to be close. I think LAFC takes care of business tomorrow. Some of the flash, I would bet, if you're better, I would bet on either Son Heung-min or Denis Bouanga doing something, because they've been quiet for too long. These guys don't usually are, right? And Denis has been a monster in this tournament. So if you can find a line, Denis Bouanga to score, which is hard to find. It's hard to find CCL games sometimes. But if you can find a line, Denis Bouanga to score or assist, or Sonny to score or assist, bet, because I think they're going to hit it. And I think each of them is going to have at least one of the other, right? Someone's going to score, someone's going to have an assist, and maybe even one of each for each of them. And maybe even 2 goals for Denis Bouanga.
These guys are both, they're going to want that Golden Boot trophy for the Champions League, 100%.
Right. I think so. And I think that we've been a little bit disappointed with their last 2 games. And if you're LAFC fan, what better way to just put these concerns, right? I was like, hey, 2 games now we win without their help. Is this a concern or an encouraging factor that we now have more ways, right, to beat teams? And again, this will be our last topic before we get out of here with our prediction scores. Eric, are we to be concerned or encouraged by the fact LAFC has now won 2, not 1 games without the help of Son or Denis Bouanga? Go.
Absolutely encouraged. To win as a team makes you unpredictable and difficult to play against. If we were Son FC or Bouanga FC, or when we were Vela FC, it was a lot harder to get those breakthroughs to win games and take those 3 points. So if they double cover Sonny, they got to deal with Bouanga and Martinez. If they double cover Bouanga and Son, then they got to deal with Martinez, Eustáquio, and Tillman. We just have too many attackers for not enough good defenders, and so that's kind of it right now. We don't even, as Tillman would say, they don't even need to use tactics.
Yeah, it's a lot more about individual performances, but you know that in football, it's not just individual performance. You gotta use your tactics. More and more tape are gonna come out, more ways to prevent what we're trying to do. I still don't think we're a good crossing team. We have no crossing reference in the box, and sometimes we're extremely predictable. And as most people said online, very boring. And once these guys become, just 2 other guys on the field, the team suffers in quality tremendously. So in order for LAFC to be LAFC, they have to be themselves. We can't rely on David Martínez and Marky Delgado to, just decide these games for you. So I expect them to be big. I expect him to crush it. I will go first on my scoring prediction. I am once again last week I predicted 3-1 LAFC over Dallas. Of course, way lower score, right? But again, I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna say 4-1 this time. LAFC over Alajuelense tomorrow at home. Eric.
I am going to say it's going to be 4-0 over Alajuelense. The shutouts hold. It keeps going. And our goal differential in the season moves up to, would that be 15-1?
Something crazy like that. Oh, man, these guys scored 14 goals in this season already in 11 games. They're a good scoring team. They just probably are not as good a defensive teams as you would want them. And again, a stupid penalty. Someone's going to do something tomorrow that is going to allow them to get on the board. But again, I think you and I are on the same page here that this is going to be big win for us. And LAFC is just going to basically cruise on their way to the next round for a berth to play a Liga MX team. Like I believe it's Cruz Azul or Tijuana. No. Tigres. While we look it up, I will put some of these results that Omar thinks it's going to be a 6-1 combined score. I don't mind that. I think that's a good number, and that would show a lot of strength from us because, again, Alajuelense should not be underestimated in CONCACAF. It's a good team, and they're going to bring it. So with that, this is our show. Thank you, Eric, for doing this. I know that you're still traveling a lot, dealing with some personal matters, so appreciate you taking time to do this for us. What's going on with your giveaway, bro?
Let me see. Well,
does anybody got it? Do you want to repeat this? So we got a few more people in here, so it hasn't happened yet. Maybe
I can go into my X. Let me look on my X to my laptop, which I normally do the show under, but it was just
that's fine. No, that's fine. But this is what Eric was doing before we get out of here. We were just basically typing a secret answer here that if you heard earlier, you would know what that is. And that's 2 tickets for tomorrow's game. Someone asked what kind of what is this? Can you guys do a Western Conference table standing so far, like a ranking, power rankings? Sure. Why not? We'll do that next week for sure. That's a good idea. Thank you so much for that suggestion. In fact, the guys from Pitchside and I just started doing a power ranking. So if you guys follow us, that's a combined score. So what I'll do is just ask Eric to vote there as well, since he's got a couple articles published. And, we'll have our own power rankings here, which I'll co-share. So what is he talking about? Oh, he just wants the West. No, the West has the only teams to win all games. You don't know anything. But
Let me
yes,
see.
every California team is looking like crazy. Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm looking for
He's checking on those winners here. Oh my God, Eric. We lost you, buddy. I think it's time to end. But thanks, everybody. It's been fun. He'll let you know if you win or not. But if you haven't, if you heard the secret answer, just type it in there.
Wait, can you hear me?
You're back.
Hey.
Yeah, what's up?
All right. No, I went. Oh, I can see now. I can see the chat all of a sudden. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God! Come on, we gotta get out. Let's do it.
No, Henry wins the tickets.
Henry
wins the tickets. He was the first one.
Oh,
well deserved, Henry. Send me a DM so I can get your info to send you the tickets for the game tomorrow. And I hope you go. And
make
you
sure you let Tillman know.
Asshole.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
All right. He's got.
Henry had that question. I think it's going to be about half and half, but you're going to be there, buddy. Sitting on section 128. We really appreciate you being here and winning the giveaway. It was worth the wait. I thought we lost you again for technical difficulties. We apologize for the beginning.
Yeah, no, that was me checking the Twitter.
So sorry about that.
Yeah,
but the beginning was a bit rough as well. But what's up, Eric?
Yep. So next week, you guys, I will be traveling again on a Monday. I think Celso will probably have a guest host for that one.
Yes.
But otherwise we'll try to show up later in the week to preview. And no promises. We're gonna check with us on X. We might try to do a quick little something on Wednesday to preview this game.
Yeah.
if I can get the right guest to do it, but I have a pretty good
right,
guess
or
as
even
long as
pre-record something after San Luis with someone from San Luis would be good too. So we're hoping to get someone from San Luis to talk a bit about their team and like the dynamics of playing LAFC in the middle of Concacaf Champions while they're just kind of bottom feeding, just trying to figure out who they are. But
Yep.
discussion for another show. Thanks again for being here. We went 50 minutes today, but we knew we had the previous the previa, as I like to call it, as well. So I was expecting us to go long. Great show. Thanks everybody. What's up there?
And stick on, like, since I moved, I still have my season tickets in section 128, and I'll probably be auctioning them off fairly frequently this season anyways. So don't miss the show live, and you might end up winning tickets again, or maybe Henry's just going to win them all. We'll see.
That's not a problem. There's no prerequisites. If you won once, you can still go the next time. Appreciate it, Eric, and we'll see you guys next time.